All righty. So I believe we're ready to go. Alberto put everyone on mute already. So thank you all for joining today. Welcome to our second day of Power Week. Certainly, it's been an incredible Monday. Yesterday, we kicked it off with an incredible call, and it actually set the tone for the whole week for us as Power Week. Just wanted to give you guys a mini update on what we want to see in the chat. So we want to see some interaction. We want to recognize you for the activities that you're having. We want to make sure that you share your tips, what is working for you, how we're able to empower other leaders in order for them to also be successful, and especially in this week with Power Week, right? So make sure, please, you post in our chat in WhatsApp how your activity is going. We want to make sure we reward you. And remember, behind every reward is a behavior, and that behavior is that we want to reward for all your hard work. So today we have a special guest, but before we go into our special guest, I'm going to share my screen real quick, and we're going to be able to go through a quick run through of what we have today. Give me 1 second if I'm able to share it here. Okay. Are you guys able to see it? No? Maybe? Okay. Not
Yes,
sure
we
what's
can.
going on like this. But anyways, let's go ahead and start it up. So for today's, we want to talk a little bit about growing your business, right? There's 3 ways, as you know, we're able to grow our business. Number 1, we have to share that excitement. Number 2, we have to share our testimonies. And number 3, we have to share the project we're currently working in. That's the only way we're going to be able to actually double our business, grow our business, and day after day have new prospects actually wanting to know more about what you're doing. Now, there's a very interesting question. What is a prospect? Now, you're probably thinking, well, a prospect is actually everyone. And the reality is, a prospect is everyone you see is a prospect that you can actually have in your organization. Now, there's 2 different criteria that a prospect has. Number 1, every prospect is looking for something in specific, right? And if we can identify what the prospect is looking for, we're going to be able to actually give them interest in a necessity that they need in order for them to fulfill what the prospect is looking for. And I'm just going to read real quick what it says here. A prospect is a person who has certain characteristics or needs that make them a potential customer or consultant and who may be interested in your product or service. And that's exactly what we have here. We have both interests. If someone wants to just be a consumer, we have the customer side. If someone wants to do the business, we also have the business side, which is the interest in the service. Now, in order for us to be able to identify and give them value to our prospects, there has to be something very specific. In order for us to give that value to our prospects, we have to make sure we educate them, right? If this is going to be a future customer, what do you want to do? You want to make sure they know how to consume the product, right? We want to make sure what is this value that our product has in order for them to actually even buy it. Why do I need to buy it if there's thousands of other companies out there, right? Why Immunitech? And that's exactly what we want to identify. We got to educate them, provide them with the useful tools that is going to be relevant to what they're actually looking for. Once we identify that, then there's a different side of the picture that with the information that we provide them, we are solving their needs. And that's what we want to get into material with, right? The moment we're able to solve their needs, the moment we're able to solve their current situation and change that, that is where the game changes because we're bringing more value to the current future prospect. Now, there's a very interesting question right here. What tools are you currently using during Power Week? And this is a question to all of you guys. What tools are you currently using? Drop in the chat what currently tools are you using. On the right-hand side, we have the Magalogs. We have so many things that we have on the table. I always say we have so much information here in Immunitech that we must know what we're sharing, right? Because remember, every customer is going to be a different interest, different needs. So if a customer wants to have something specific, we want to make sure we send them that something specific. Now, we also have a fabulous app, right, with the landing pages, all the information that we have. So we have our back office where we can have all the information. We have printing materials that we also are able to share. We also have the app itself, which is super fantastic, that you're able to share. And here in the chat, it says the videos from the app, Dena Holmes, excellent PDFs, excite, discover immunity calls, fabulous. So you guys are all using these powerful tools that we have. Now, talking about giving your prospects valuable information to prepare them for what the next step is, we enter into a different criteria. Because in this case, let's focus a little bit on the customer side. We have an incredible Living Better Rewards program, right? Now, how many of you guys are using currently the Living Better Rewards program, and who actually knows it? Drop in the chat. If you know already about the Living Better Rewards, drop a 1. If you're not using it, drop a 2. It's okay if you're not using it. But there's so much power behind it, because here's where we're going to start identifying our true prospects. Now, if we're identifying our prospects, we're identifying if they're going to become our future customer or if they're going to become a future consultant. Are you all in agreement with it? Definitely, right? The moment we're able to identify that is the moment we, as independent consultants, are able to identify clearly what we're going to be able to share with them, how we're going to be building our business. If it's going to become a customer, well, we want to make sure we give them the rewards program as a customer and as a benefit as a customer. And if it's a consultant, well, we want to make sure we give them the benefit as a consultant in order for them to make the decision and join Immunitech. Now, we want to make sure that we give our customers the information they're actually looking for. So as you can see, we spoke about this in the other previously, but if you're able to see here, we want to make sure we're sharing the right information, because we have seen little discrepancy, I would say. When we want to share customers or future consultants, we want to make sure we share the information they're looking for, because once we're giving them what they're looking for, they're able to make the right decision on what product pack they're going to choose, right? And that's something that we want to make sure we're all in agreement with, because it's going to be very powerful. Now, what happens if that moment they already chose what pack they're going to be joining the company? It can be a customer or a consultant side. But in this side, focusing back on the customer, we want to make sure we do a follow-up, right? And part of today's topic is going to be customer follow-up strategy, which you're going to be hearing pretty soon from Dena in a moment. But we want to make sure we make a call. We want to make sure we do a follow-up call. It can be 2, 3, 4 days after the customer starts consuming the product. We want to make sure we're on top of them. Remember, behind every customer that you have, it becomes the best consultant, right? Because they start seeing the results. They start seeing how the product is working with them. They start feeling better. And then once again, we want to make sure that we share that excitement with them. Because if you're feeling great and the product is giving you great results, well, guess what? They're going to feel the same way. So we want to give them thanks, right, for trusting you, for expressing the joy that you have that they join Immunitech, and also share the excitement that you're ready for them to start seeing results, right? You're going to be following up with them. You're going to be making a call. It doesn't even have to be a call sometimes. A quick message. Hey, I just want to make sure how you're doing. How are you feeling today? Tell me, how were you able to sleep? Do you feel rested? Do you feel with energy this morning? Right? We want to make sure we just stay on top of those things, because that's exactly what's going to make sure that that one customer brings more customers, and that eventually that customer becomes your best consultant. And at the end of the day, I like the last sentence. It says, ask how they're doing or feeling and verify if they have indeed started using the product, because that's another one, right? You may have a customer, you say, I'm excited to try the product, but guess what? They consume it one day and it's in their pantry for the next 3 to 4 days, right? So we want to make sure that we're like their follow-up mechanism. Hey, I just want to make sure you're doing great. Oh my goodness, I totally forgot. I need to consume the product right immediately, right? So we just want to make sure we stay on top of that. As they start seeing results, the more everything starts to make sense for them. And just last but not least, we want to make sure that they know what their benefits are as a customer. So based on those follow-up calls, you're able to remind them that if they're feeling good, they can give you referrals, right? We want to make sure we're working with referrals. That's the business we're in. So we want to make sure they refer you people. And at the end of the day, guess what? Once they start referring you one person, two, three, four, they're gonna be like, gosh, I can actually do the business, right? Talk to me about the business and how I'm able to do it. But in this scenario, we just want to make sure that they know the benefits of actually giving referrals, that they get $10 credit per customer, right? The customer perks behind everything. And also, last but not least, remind them that every $200 they spend, they get $20 off their next purchase, right? So those are big benefits, because remember something, just like you like to save money, I like to save money, they like to save money, right? So if we're able to maneuver that and actually just share them, hey, these are all your benefits, and this is just a customer. Just imagine what the perks are being as a consultant, right? So this right here, we just wanted to give you that friendly reminder to stay on top of the future prospects that you have. Make sure you give that follow-up call, make sure you give that follow-up message, and make sure that you're making the best out of it every day. And especially this week for Power Week, we want to make sure that we have that empowerment and we feel that excitement within you. All righty, so with that being said, I told you guys we have a very important guest today, very special. We have our diamond from Fort Myers, Florida, which, by the way, this is the power of social media, guys. Every time I see her story, it reminds me about something called Cogniva, something that is a brain chew, something that will activate me and remind me that I need to take the products daily, right? So that is exactly the power behind Dena. So Dena, Holmes, thank you so much for joining us. The mic's all on you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Denzel. It's so exciting to be here. I'm actually a little bit nervous today, and it's a virtual event, and we're all friends and family. But I was like, I just tell myself sometimes, okay, Dena, it's not nerves. You're just excited. You're not nervous. You're just excited. So I want this to be a bit interactive. I think it's a lot more enjoyable when we can engage with one another. And let me start my timer here. I want to make sure that I stay on track. I want to start, though, with a bit of a story. So I think, it's that expression that we've heard so many times: stories sell and facts tell. So I could sit here, I was thinking about how did I want to put together this presentation today? I could give you so many sales statistics when it comes to the necessity of follow-up. I could tell you why the 7-touch rule was created, all the numbers behind that, because you need to understand that follow-up is critical. Power Week is designed to help you create systems so that Power Week becomes every week for you, so that you're understanding those income producing activities that are really going to grow your business, not just on Power Week, but on weeks to follow. So you're planting lots of seeds, and some of them may sprout quickly, but the truth is many of them will not. So that is why this topic today is so critical. And one of the most powerful ways that I can explain to you why this is so critical is by telling you a bit about my story. Many of you have heard my story when it comes to my experience with the products. That's not what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to share with you what I have never shared before. Oh, I'm even sweating under my armpits. That's how nervous I am. Look at that. I was outside with a dog and I live in Florida. But anyway, so I've never shared this before with how I said yes and what that whole process was like. And I'm so glad I see my awesome upline, Dale and Lou Perini, here today, because this story really involves them. All right, so stick with me for a few minutes. And if you know Dale and Lou, drop a little comment in the chat. Let's give Dale and Lou some love because they deserve it. So it was June 2020. I already had been taking something that I was told would help with glutathione, okay? And I wasn't seeing results. I wasn't seeing anything so far in terms of what I had been taking. So it started in June 2020 with an income producing activity, which is posting something on social media. That's what Lou Perini did. He posted an article on Facebook talking about ways to optimize glutathione, and specifically it addressed the fact that this supplement I was taking wasn't very good, N-acetylcysteine, in case you're curious. So I was interested. I liked the post. I commented on the post. Did I initially want to be like, Lou, send me a link. You reference something that sounds amazing. I want to get started. No, not at all. After that, we engaged a little bit on Facebook, that Facebook post. And then I had a conversation with Dale, his wife. Now, after talking to Dale, did I say yes? I did not say yes. I did not. They shared a recorded webinar with me on benefits of glutathione, and I watched it. Did I say yes? No, I did not say yes. So how many touches have we had then? Quite a few, right? And finally, after watching that webinar, we had another follow-up conversation, Lou and I. And I think Dale, I think it was the three of us, me, Dale, and Lou. And it was finally at that point that I said yes to trying the product. Okay. So this is all taking place over, let's say, within a few weeks. So compared to some, maybe that happened quickly, but did you notice how many interactions we had to have before I finally said yes to trying the product, trying Immunical? Now, here's something else that Denzel spoke about, and this is critical because our jobs as consultants does not end once somebody finally says yes. We have to go back and follow up with them. Literally, okay, this is a container of cinnamon, but let's pretend this is my Immunical cup. The first time I tried it, I was like, I literally was like, I wasn't taking booster with it or anything. I was just like straight water and I think a regular and a platinum. And I was like, whoa, that was rough. Okay, I wasn't sold yet on the taste, I'll tell you that. And so I wasn't sure how I felt after, and I was really anxious about trying something new. I was always worried, like, is this going to interact with my medication or this or that? You know, I had all these thoughts going in my head. So I needed some support at the beginning because I wasn't mixing it right. I had so much foam that was making it even less palatable. So Dale and Lou had to teach me how to mix it. And then what's interesting is I finally got the hang of that. And Dale starts talking to me a little bit about the business. Now, I was a little curious. So she invites me to a WhatsApp group. How many of you have WhatsApp groups that you use, right, to keep everyone around the fire, right, to build that community? Yes, Mary Lou's, you and Giancarlo, we have a thanks to you for our awesome Buno stream chat. So a lot of us do, we utilize those. I joined the chat. And a few weeks later, I'm like, what in the world? What am I doing in here? I don't want anything to do with this. I leave the chat. I totally leave. You see, sometimes people leave the chat, right? I was one of them. I left the chat. I'm like, no, I want nothing to do with the business. I already have a business. I've been working 10 years. Like that's crazy thoughts. So continue on now another month later. Now this I just remembered on Sunday. Sunday, I was reviewing some old journals of mine. And when I do journaling in the morning, part of it is gratitude journaling. And I write down the top 5 things I'm grateful for that happened the last 24 hours. Do you know it was 2.5 months into taking Immunical? I wrote in my journal entry, grateful that Lou set up the conference call to learn more about Immunical. I was having doubts. I was having questions. I wasn't really sure completely about what I was taking and what it was possibly doing for me. Okay. And this was even after I had great results from my blood work, but there was still something inside of me thinking, is this really that good for me? What we have is a wonderful product, but it's not always that easy for people to understand necessarily why they should be taking K21, or what NRF2 activator is, or optimizing glutathione. So we have to continually drip on them a bit. And that's what Lou did. He helped give me some assurance. He brought in somebody who was more experienced than him to really answer my questions. That was incredible follow-up. And do you know that was just 1 month before a very powerful conversation that Lou and I had with another upline member, our platinum upline member, Jim Spencer, about why I should really consider this as a business. So 6 months had gone by, and that other follow-up now, because I started to see some results, we tweaked my plan. I ended up incorporating Booster. Not only did it make the Immunical taste better, but it was that additional product that I needed to get the results that I was looking for. Does that make sense? Have you experienced that with people where it's not a one and done, where we need to check in with people and follow up with them to make sure that their goals of what they're trying to feel more of or less of? And that type of real care touched me. And I knew the Perinis, but what I didn't know is some of the people supporting the Perinis that were part of these conversations, part of the webinars I was watching, and that impressed me. I loved the community part of what I was seeing within the Immunotech family. So because of my own results, and because of seeing that, I started to fall in love with what is the brand of Immunotech, which is that living better. And that type of feeling is what we need in order to not only get new customers or consultants, but to keep them. As Mary Lou's always says, keep them around the campfire. And that is what Dale and Lou did such a phenomenal job with me. Was their efforts worth it? Yeah, I'm a diamond consultant. Once I said yes, 2 months later, I became diamond. So these things can take time, but it's so worth it because as Immunotech consultants, we know that we are looking to impact people's lives with our products and with our business opportunity. This network marketing model is what allowed me to leave this completely soul-crushing job that I hated, to be able to do things that I love with people I love. I didn't want to be a slave to my job anymore. I wanted my life back, my health back, my spirituality back, my mental health back, everything. So there's people looking for things that our products and our business have to offer. But don't give up on people too soon because you're frustrated that that person you invited to a webinar once or that you gave a magalog to, that they didn't just ask for an order. You're going to learn at convention, and you're going to see more of this throughout 2023, that we have to approach people in a different way. All right. People need to know how much you care, that you are a solutions provider, not that you're just trying to sell them something, because that sales radar goes up. That's a thing. So having conversations with people is more important than ever before, because we need to understand what they're thinking, what their needs are, and it doesn't always happen with just one invitation or one follow-up. That is why it is so important that you keep your prospect list. I keep my prospect list right on my phone. I use the Notes app. I'm going to show you right now. It'd be funny if someday somebody watches this and they're like, hey, I saw my name on there. So my prospect list, here we go, is literally something we see here of all these different names, right? That I want to find that time where I can talk to them and so I understand what their needs are and continue to drip on them. That's what Dale and Lou did to me. Yeah. Someone just wrote in the chat, I hate when someone tries to tell me something. That's exactly, someone tries to sell me something. I feel the same way. And you see that sometimes on social media or even people engaging with you. You know, you walk in the furniture store and these salespeople like hound you and then kind of follow you around and it's creepy. We don't want any of that. But when you authentically come from a place of learning more about them and trying to help them, that's going to come across. So they didn't rush the sale with me. They weren't from the first time we engaged like, hey, let me text you our consultant package. Let me send you the link to how to order. No, they were so good at that as waiting to understand what my needs were and what would best address those needs. And they took time with it. Yes, Julia, Theodore Roosevelt. That's a great quote. People don't know how much you know until they know how much you care. That is so true. Now we have just a few minutes left about follow-up, and this is where I need your help. Every one of you has something to offer. You are all leaders and future leaders within Immunitech. You know more than you think you do. Now, what do you do when you have a prospect, okay, and you've given them something? You've maybe used one of those tools that Denzel talked about, our awesome app with the videos, the PDFs, the Discover Immunitech, lots of different tools we have, but they don't bite. Nothing's happened. So what reasons do we have for follow-up? I want you to write in the chat, what are some ideas that you use as like an excuse or a reason to follow up with someone? Now, I'm going to share one as you're starting to put your notes in the chat. We had a great one yesterday from Maurizio. I think the soccer team in Mexico is like Team America, something like that. And he was thank you, Alberto. He was telling the story about these athletes, right? These professional soccer players who were wearing this monitor. He called it a sports bra. That may not have been exactly what it was, but this type of monitor that tracks their performance, their recovery. These soccer players had no idea that the trainers had started to put Immunical as part of their morning protocol. No idea. You can mix it in with a smoothie or something else they're taking, right? They didn't tell them. But what they noticed themselves was that their training, their efforts, their performance was getting better and better. And finally, it was the players who came back and said, hey, what are you doing? What is this? What are you giving us? Like, did you change something in our protocol? That's incredible. That would be a reason right there with anyone you have ever talked to about Immunical Sport. You know that they work out. You know they're into fitness. Be like, hey, I just heard this story. You're going to love this. This is incredible. I think you'd find this interesting. And you share with them. That is another reason to go back, right? Let's look at some of the other ones here. Yeah, Bruce. Hey, just seeing how it's going. I do that often, Bruce. I don't even directly ask, like, hey, did you get a chance to watch that video? Or did you get a chance to check out that Magalog, right? Because maybe they're embarrassed to say no. But you're just showing that you care. And you're checking in with them to see how they've been doing. See if they will engage with you, right? Try to find out more. Danny and Martha, a photo from several years ago pops up on my phone. Then I reach out to reminisce with a friend. Another great reason just to stay in touch. And learn more. Yes, this is a huge one. Dale and Lou wrote, invite them to another meeting. You guys, anytime we have an event, that literally is a great reason to reach out because people are so busy. So if you've invited them before and they have said no, invite them again when you have another one, but try to do it with what could interest them. So, hey, right, Julia, I know you are totally into nutrition. I've seen your Instagram stories. You're at the gym a lot. I'm teaching a class, this, that. We're going to talk specifically about ways to boost your immune system, how to build muscle, recover faster, and actually it includes total amazing longevity for life. You know, you're going to love it. Whatever, you're giving a reason now and you've personalized it. But here's a tip. Don't just send them the invitation with the link and all that right away. Did you notice I didn't just say, hey, Julia, I'm teaching this class on Saturday. Here's the Zoom link. Hope you can make it. Don't do that. Okay. It's so much better to try to engage with them first. And you can mention, hey, I'm teaching a class Saturday. It's going to cover this, which I know interests you. Can I send you the link? Would you be open to coming? I'd love to have you there. End with a question so they have to come back to you. Okay, I don't have time to go through all of these, but I asked people because you can be reading them. I can't read them all while I'm talking, but pick up on these points. A lot of people here have great tips. Oh, another $1 million tip, Mary Lou. Sorry, I have to say this one. Hey, just saw something that made me think of you. I knew you would love it too. Amazing. So my friends, please remember, yes, planting seeds is so important. But follow-up is where the money's at for your potential customers and your future team members and your existing customers and your existing team members. Follow up. Thank you so much for having me to the Immunitech team. I appreciate the invite. I love you all, and I can't wait to see you in Fort Worth.
Fantastic. Sarah, are you there?
I'm sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. Dena, you are so excellent, because you make us to think out of the box. That's what we need. And those are like little things that can change our daily basis, right? So thank you so much. And yes, we're happy to have you always here and in the convention and everywhere, because you have that passion and you're a person that people believe in what you're saying, because that's what you have, and that's what we get from you. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for being here. Remember that tomorrow we're going to be here again, same time, right? And share with us what are you doing, how's your day, and we're just gonna be checking to see that you're having a good day, that you're sharing your knowledge with others. And tomorrow we want to mention you and to celebrate what are you doing. Okay, so see you tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Denzel, you were so great, so thank you so much. Okay, so Alberto, you can put the music again so we can start dancing now. after we turn on the record.
All right, well, see you tomorrow, everyone.